Hello and welcome to the Golden Playbook. Today we are going over 9 veterans who can still be mainstays and pillars on your fantasy football team in 2025. These are undervalued guys that you can get in the mid to late rounds of fantasy drafts that can absolutely be week in and week out starters on your fantasy teams. And we'll start none further than the 1,000-yard guy himself, Mike Evans. Currently the wide receiver 17, and I suspect his ADP to be on the rise with the recent Chris Godwin injury news. Yes, he is going to probably be on the PUP list, meaning he'll be out the first 6 weeks, and even then it'll be a ramp-up period for him. And Mike Evans obviously dominated once Godwin got hurt last season, not to mention Jalen McMillan, who had a little breakout last year, also injured and will miss at least the first 4 weeks. So it's going to be the Mike Evans show. Of course, Emeka Egbuka, the rookie, is getting a lot of buzz as well, rightfully so. But for the veterans episode, Mike Evans is an absolute screaming deal where he's going in drafts, especially with Godwin and McMillan likely to be out for multiple weeks. All of a sudden, Mike Evans has become a very comfortable click in round 3, and if he makes it to round 4, even better. Pairing him up with one of those high upside young guys in the first couple rounds like Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas, some first and second year guys who are expecting to have big seasons. Pairing him with the veteran like Mike Evans gives you a lot of comfort and stability at the wide receiver position. Let's move on to another wide receiver, and that is Calvin Ridley, currently about the wide receiver 28, and you can get him in 5th, 6th, even 7th rounds of fantasy football drafts, and he is going to be the alpha dog in Tennessee. I know people are not expecting a lot out of the Tennessee offense, but I'm a firm believer in Cam Ward. I think Calvin Ridley can have a very similar type of season to Terry McLaurin last year. Terry had the rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels, who outperformed expectations. I think Cam Ward can absolutely do the same this season, and Calvin Ridley is going to be his guy. There's not really a clear second wide receiver or receiving option after Ridley, so I think he's going to get absolutely pounded with targets. I think he's going to be a PPR machine, and I am very comfortable, especially if he's your wide receiver 3 or even wide receiver 4 if you're going wide receiver heavy. I think he just creates a nice solidified option to throw into your flex week in and week out. Subscribe! This next guy is one of my guys and has been for quite some time, and that is Alvin Kamara, currently the running back 19. Obviously gets a big bump in PPR as he's been a receiving threat for most of his career. Look, I know we're expecting New Orleans offense to not be very good, but listen, Kamara is the sole guy in the backfield. Sure, there's some Kendre Miller buzz, but he has had buzz the last 2 seasons and has not amounted to take away anything from Alvin Kamara and his value. I think he's a very safe RB2 on your squad, gives you 12 to 15 PPR fantasy points as a floor, and can absolutely have a boom game. Taysom Hill is currently injured, so he can't get his touchdowns vultured by Taysom. And I know Spencer Rattler just got named the starter, and he's probably competent at best, but it should result in a handful of dump downs each game, 3, 4, 5 targets a game, and Alvin Kamara will definitely pay up his value. Just feels like a very safe RB2 to have on your squad. And a guy in a very similar position is James Conner, currently the RB21. Another guy with no RB2 to kind of try to battle for touches, unless Trey Benson takes a little bit of a step, and he may do so, but if James Conner stays healthy, they have proven they want to give him the load, give him 20, 25 touches a game, both on the ground and in the receiving game. Both Kamara and Conner are great PPR options, and Conner's bonus is he is in a better offense than Kamara. Also, he is the short yardage back, so on the goal line, James Conner should be getting those carries and getting those touchdowns. So I like both of these veteran running back options to be a perfect RB2 if you take a swing at RB1, like say an Ashton Genty or a Bucky Irving as your RB1, who are expecting big things but are not completely proven. Grabbing one of these veterans as your RB2 gives you a little bit of comfort, a little bit of solidity in that running back room on your roster. And listen, you're getting these guys in the 5th, 6th, even 7th rounds, and if they stay healthy, they will absolutely outperform their ADPs. These guys are smash picks at the running back position in those middle rounds. Next on this list is Stefon Diggs, currently the wide receiver 39. And listen, I know on previous videos, I told you do not draft players coming off of big injuries, and I absolutely still believe in that rule. It is a great rule to draft by, but considering the price you have to pay on Stefon Diggs, which is wide receiver 39, so an 8th, 9th round pick, it is absolutely insane. He's the clear-cut wide receiver 1 on a young ascending offense. Everyone's expecting Drake May to take a step in year 2, in huge part to Stefon Diggs, who has proven year in and year out with Minnesota, with Buffalo, he can absolutely be an alpha dog wide receiver. And I expect nothing to be different in New England. His rehab has been going absolutely amazing. He is ahead of schedule, ready for week 1, no limitations. I think Diggs will be a 10 target per game guy. And a guy with his skill level, his track record, and his projected volume, he is an absolute smash pick coming off the ACL or not. I think if Stefon Diggs was healthy, he would be in the wide receiver 15 to 20 range, and we're getting him at wide receiver 39. Just feels like an extreme value for a guy who's likely your wide receiver 3 or 4. And if you're not comfortable starting him week 1, you paying a price on him where you do not have to. He can sit on your bench or just go into your flex spot. It's not like we're paying wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 values on Stefon Diggs. I think he's an absolute steal of a value right now. I'm really expecting that New England offense to take that next leap, in big part to Stefon Diggs. Next up is Jakobi Meyers, the wide receiver 41. And yes, I know he just requested a trade, having a little bit of contract battles, but I think it'll work itself out. Whether he gets paid or not, I think Jakobi Meyers is going to be the wide receiver 1 for the Vegas Raiders. And if you've been following this channel, you know I've been high on Jakobi Meyers all summer long. I still think he's an excellent value, even with the signing of Amari Cooper. I don't think that takes away from Jakobi Meyers at all, who's going to play a lot out of the slot. Amari Cooper will be on the outside. If anything, I think it bumps down one of the rookies, either Dante Thornton or probably more likely Jack Besh. I think he definitely gets a bump down with Amari Cooper coming in. But I don't think it takes away from Jakobi or Brock Bowers at all. I think where you're getting Jakobi Meyers in a similar range to Diggs, who has proven he can put up 1,000-yard seasons, 5, 6, 7 touchdown seasons. I think it's just absolute steal value at Jakobi Meyers, and I think he'll provide an excellent PPR floor. I don't think he quite has the ceiling that a Stefon Diggs has, that you get a couple picks earlier, but absolutely love him. If you need a wide receiver 3, someone to throw into your flex to get a solid 12 to 15 points, I think Jakobi Meyers will absolutely be that guy for you this season. We've got one more running back on the list, and that is Tony Pollard, currently the RB 20 to 24. He has been shooting up rankings with the Tyjae Spears injury news, obviously landing himself on the IR with the high ankle. So Tony Pollard has no one to battle with, at least for the first 4 weeks of the season, and probably longer. It'll take Tyjae a little bit of time to come off of the high ankle sprain, and they have yet to bring anyone in. So I think we are going to get it. Rejuvenated Tony Pollard, much like we got at the beginning of last season, where he's getting 20, 25 touches a game with a much better quarterback, hopefully a much better offense. I think he's another guy who can get a surprising amount of work in the passing game. 3, 4 catches a game with Cam Ward kind of dumping the ball down under pressure. And Tony Pollard has proven to be a guy who can absolutely do it on the goal line. I could easily see him having an 8 to 10 touchdown season and just being a very solid running back too for you. And you can get him in the 6th, 7th round. I know he's been shooting up draft boards with the Spears injury news, but Tony Pollard is definitely a guy I am aiming to get in my middle rounds as my RB2. Or if you even go no running back, call me crazy. If Tony Pollard was your RB1 heading into a season where you did no RB, I wouldn't hate it, depending on how the rest of your team looks, of course. But Tony Pollard is a guy I'm that confident in. I think he is an absolute steal where he's being drafted. Should be a great value for the 2025 season. And we are going to round it out with 2 tight ends. The first being David Njoku, currently the tight end 12. So long as Flacco is quarterback and he has been named the starter, David Njoku is going to be a steal of a value. In 2023, they did amazing things together. David Njoku was a top 5 tight end with Flacco at quarterback, and we know Flacco likes to sling the rock. He will keep his top pass catchers very busy, and I love David Njoku, especially at the beginning of the season when Flacco is in there. Njoku could be a guy who performs very highly for you in the first month of the season, and then you sell high before one of the rookies comes in and takes over at quarterback. So I love David Njoku. So long as Joe Flacco is quarterback, I think David Njoku is a screaming value at the tight end position. And then to round it out, another guy from that New England offense who I'm very high on and expecting to take a leap, Hunter Henry, currently the tight end 18. I truly think Diggs and Henry are going to be the top 2 target getters in this offense. With so much uncertainty behind those 2 guys, I know Demario Douglas is getting buzzed, the rookie Kyle Williams, but I truly think those 2 guys are going to be Drake May's kind of right and left-hand man. I really like Hunter Henry to get 6 to 8 targets a game, especially early in the season when Drake May is trying to get comfortable, get into a rhythm, kind of find his guys that he knows he likes. And I just think Hunter Henry is going way, way too late. You can get him in double-digit rounds, 12, 13, 14, as a high-end backup guy, or even if you punt on tight end and you have to start Hunter Henry. I truly don't hate that. I think he'll provide some solid value for you week in and week out. And Drake May has also come out saying that he shouldn't have to scramble as much this year. The O-line got a little bit better. He's getting a little bit more comfortable in the pocket. Less runs for Drake May equals more pass attempts, equals more potential targets for these guys like Diggs and Henry. So those are my 9 veteran players who can absolutely be pillars on your team for the 2025 fantasy football season. I think their role, their expected volume, and their draft price are absolute perfect formulas for success. So draft these guys in your fantasy drafts and you'll be a happy camper. With that being said, make sure you smash the like button, smash that subscribe button. For those of you who have been around for a while, I know I said I was going to get the boy thick cut bacon when we hit 100 subscribers, which we did. So in the next coming videos, we will have that clip of him eating his thick cut bacon for the 100 subscribers. And thank you so much. Obviously, I couldn't do it without you guys. I really appreciate the support. Like I said, make sure you smash that subscribe, comment down below your favorite veterans for the 2025 fantasy football season. And we are getting close, baby. Thank you for all the support. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.